मेरा प्रश्न है कि you are 20 years old boy, है ना? So why there is a delay in the IPO or listing so much?
मैंने अभी बोला था हमने एक 9 साल का विजन किया था तो हमारे कंपनी का आई एम नॉट श्योर इट मे नॉट बी इन द बुक्स but our company's revenue was 25 crores in 2016 and probably today the profits are coming to a similar number. So there is a time that we waited. Of course, our people have been pushing very hard because उनको लगता है कि IPO is very romantic, but we waited for the right time. This is the time where we realize that whatever हम जो सीखे हैं जाने हैं, we have tremendous amount of opportunities worldwide. COVID बहुत कारण से because of COVID public spending in e-governance went to a different level altogether. And today ये जो digital public infrastructure है जो सरकारें no governments today can actually survive in the age of Netflix and Uber because जो young mass है वो voting नहीं देगी अगर government का offering IT के तरीके से नहीं होगा. So we think this is the right time for us to invest and grow rapidly in India and in Africa and in America. So that is the reason that delay maybe.
And what is the use of this 165 crore, 156 crore rupees IPO? What is the use?
Mostly it will go into working capital because as I told you, talent is IT company, talent से बनती है. We are not a brick and mortar company. It will be basically used in hiring more people, skilling and placing more people and taking people who take our services to different locations and geographies. Working capital, there is a small term loan that we plan to also knock off, and there is an acquisition also because to have sooner and faster growth, that is something that we thought that we will do.
So could you elaborate the acquisition that you have just mentioned?
See, it's because we written here as unidentified acquisition. My BRLM is here. Maybe I can speak a lot, but then yeah. So there are a lot of activities that are happening. It is something to be working with the government, and we are looking at skills or the technologies for US primarily, so that we can leapfrog faster. No, because we just started in America in 23 and we don't want to wait for time to build up. So we want to get into the race faster there.
So
good afternoon team CSM. Thanks for your detailed presentation and briefing. Your order book has increased in the last couple of years. What percentage of your order book represents the firm executable orders versus work orders or LOS, and what is your general timelines to deliver project?
Typically our projects are 3 years or 5 years. On a max it's 5 years, except for few orders that we booked in 2017 or 18 for smart city mission, which went for 9 years and all. So typically it is 3 years or 5 years. In a 3 years, typically whatever order that we book today is served for next 3 years. Ideally, every year our revenue comes, 50% of our revenue comes from yesteryear orders. 2021 में कोई मिले, 22 में कोई मिले, 23 में कोई मिले, चल रहे हैं आज तक. 25% of our revenue comes from renewals and change request. ये होता ही है because there are continuous improvement to the software. 25% of our revenue comes from the order that we book in the current financial year. So that is how the spread is. So today if you look at the orders that we are standing, 50% of the revenue would be booked this year, 25% will be booked from the orders that or the deals that we do this year, and 25% comes from the annual maintenance services that we call, which is nothing but change request or renewals that happens.
Sir, as you are aware, the technology gets updated almost every day, and there is a rapid pace of tech evolution that you have to match, of course, with the government department as well as the end users. There are GenAI applications, then the cloud standards get changed. So how do you meet the capex requirement for such upgradation and software changes which happens often? And going forward, what would be the proportion of R&D investment for IT systems, upgradation of IT systems, and IT capex going forward? Thanks.
For the first question, you will be happy to know that any such requirement that keeps on coming, the clients only fund, because any new adoption goes into change request because that was not agreed. And so with the client money, we also sometimes improve our system, and at the same time, we also, as any technology company, we have been investing in R&D since the last 20 odd years, and that portion is only becoming bigger and bigger by the day, because we in our lab, we decide this is the framework. Most of the CSM software that has rolled out will be similar by nature in terms of the skeleton, and that is something that we call it as a low code, no code platform that CSM internally owns it, and that has been happening for many years. Right now there are Gen AI wrapper that we are putting it on, so that in fact we become more efficient in delivery. Any kind of an upgradation, any kind of a AI anything that is, because the customers are only coming back. They don't want to wait that हमारा कॉन्ट्रैक्ट खत्म होगा फिर वो कुछ AI लेके आएंगे. अगर हम उनके लिए काम कर रहे हैं, we are like their partners, and they can't wait. And if there are some use cases coming, और या हम उनको जाके कभी कुछ आइडिया देते हैं कि ये भी हो सकता है, इसको आप पहले आप पूरा मैनुअल थे, जो चीज़ 1 साल लगती थी, अभी ऑटोमेशन के तहत वो 6 महीना हो गए, अब AI के जरिए से आप उसको 1 महीने भी कर सकते हो. सो फॉर दैट देयर आर कंप्यूटिंग दैट इज रिक्वायर्ड, तो इंडिया AI मिशन से लेके आएंगे. फिर उसमें आपका जो नॉलेज बेस तैयार होगा, वो जो जितना भी टाइम लगेगा, उसके लिए हम मैन आवर्स में उनको चार्ज करते हैं. इधर हमें चेंज रिक्वेस्ट देते हैं एंड हम उससे काम करते हैं.
Hello. What differentiates CSM Technologies from other digital transformation and government tech companies?
See, I don't think that any company comes that bold and says that, I am a GovTech company. So we're very sure what we are doing, and this is something that we will continue doing. Because we see massive opportunities coming in that area. So that is the one line differentiator, because there are many IT companies, they do this and they do many other things. Now IT is like an ocean, right? जो data entry भी कर रहा है, जो fiber optic भी डाल रहा है, जो सर्वर भी बेच रहा है, या जो क्लाउड कंप्यूटिंग देख रहा है, या कोई SAP की कंपनी है, कोई आदमी सप्लाई करता है. तो IT is like an ocean, and within the government also it is an ocean. So you have to be very clear that these are the areas that you need to stick to. So that is what is the differentiation.
And how sustainable is growth if government spending priorities change?
Do you really think that can happen? I don't think, because they keep on, the tax base is increasing by the year, right? So where will the money go? So the government spending, let us put it this way. I was just joking on the other side. During COVID, the biggest winner, unfortunate part, this is, we shouldn't be saying this, but it's a fact. The biggest winner was pharma and IT. Right? So everything shut down, but it was the IT, which, there was a boom that happened, and if you may be aware with your relatives or family members, there was a time in India, there was a, war that was going on between talents. Everybody had 4 or 5 job opportunities. The great resignation time that had happened from 21 to 22, because it created so much of an opportunity, and India was not prepared, and it happened worldwide. Even in fact in America also, everybody had 2-3 jobs. So sometimes that hype happens. The government spending during crisis time, these are the push. In better times, so they will continue pushing it further.
Hello. Sir, only 2263 lakhs of IPO proceeds are planned towards debt repayment.
ज़्यादा है शायद.
Debt equity has increased
23
crore. 23 crore. Yeah. But debt repayment has increased. Equity has increased to 1% actually, almost 1%. So what is the target leverage after listing from your side?
See, typically, we will, as the working capital cycle has been, governments तो थोड़े slow चलती हैं, so we know how it is और हमारे लिए नया नहीं है. हम लेके चलते हैं कि governments, you raise invoices, they will take time to pay. Now to service that, there is a working capital cycle that is there from the bank. तो वो cycle वैसे ही चलता रहेगा. We are not looking at IPO proceeds to replenish those areas and all. We are looking at IPO proceeds to put clearly on the growth, R&D. Working capital is something that we are trying to push further. Our appetite to take up bigger projects increases manyfold with the IPO proceeds. Debt repayment is something which because आज के डेट में हम जो भी काम करते हैं, बैंक गारंटी की जरूरत होती है. रफली अराउंड 70 करोड़ के हमारे नॉन फंड गारंटी है जो बैंक गारंटीज में जाते हैं. आप विदेशों में भी काम करते हो, गैबॉन में आप काम करते हो, तो अभी फॉर एग्जांपल वन ऑफ दिस प्रोजेक्ट इज टिम्बर ट्रेसेबिलिटी, $4.5 मिलियन का प्रोजेक्ट है. 10% का आपको बैंक गारंटी लगता है. सो दे डोंट रिकॉग्नाइज द इंडियन बैंक्स. You go through Exim Bank, so there is a non-fund money that gets stuck, and rest of the money remains on the working capital cycle जैसा चल रहा है चलेगा. So that is what it is.
Sir, second question is promoter holding is highly concentrated before IPO actually. So how does management address scheme and dependency of this?
I see it good because I'm not going to leave the company. मुझे चलाना है इसको, right? Promoter holding is good is what that you are asking, right? The promoters concentration is high, which is a good sign in my opinion. And as we grow further, we'll see how it takes and how we professionalize further the company.
Two questions. One is how much is the mix between government revenues from the government side and private sector? And since you guys work with the government for a lot of things, usually companies who work with government have issues with payments and possibility of litigation and things like that. So what kind of a strategy do you have to address those things? And about the debt, what will be the debt to equity once post IPO? And finally, what will be the promoter stake post IPO and percentage stake post IPO? And why didn't you monetize this time during the IPO? Why did you go for a bit of an OFS as well? Yeah.
So the first question, 4 questions you asked, right? The first question is सरकार में पेमेंट का बहुत प्रॉब्लम.
I asked about the mix between private and
private and
government.
so private sectors, you see, we work with JSW, we work with Adani. So we have this is something that is carved out of GovTech only, because today JSWs and Adanis or Naiwali Lignite Corporation, Gujarat Mineral Development Corporation, they have logistics are something which are very challenging. And since we manage for the government the supply chain management, we realize that they also have a gap there. So that is a product that we roll out called Digital Logistics Management Solution, and we feel that that is one area will have huge demand in future, because the way the public infrastructure is getting built, including the digital, logistics will play a larger part, and that too only on the mining sector that we work on. Now, not that we are shy or we will deny if tomorrow Reliance comes and says that build a software for us. We're not going to deny, but of course today we see a lot of potential for us with the governments, and the market is too big. In terms of payments they are slow. There is no denial about it. But the good part is that it comes with a sovereign guarantee. No other, if you look at the litigation of the companies, right, if you deliver well, nobody is actually, you don't have to be litigant, right? If you are delivering good quality software and if you have made your customers happy for the last 28 years, right, and if you go and look at our records also, you'll hardly find any kind of a litigation that would have happened. And litigation need not happen, of course, it can happen for somebody's, some real reasons also. But then to protect that, there is a large contract team with us, we have a large legal team, we ensure that the understanding customer जो पैसे दे रहे हैं, जो उनको चाहिए, they and us are together. Not that there is an expectation mismatch. वो चाहते कुछ थे और हम दे कुछ रहे हैं या हम झगड़ा लगेंगे. These are things. And if you are genuine, you can keep on growing with your customer, and we have only grown with our customers. If you look at our track record, our customers have stayed with us for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, and they're government bodies. So, on terms of payment, we are their partners. We don't work on 1,000 crore EPC contracts with the customer governments, right? We work on a 50 crore, 100 crore deals, and our success is their success, and we are their partners, and we have to be successful. And in terms of delayed payments are concerned, that is, we have already, over the years, we have already mastered that art. कि ये तो इतना ही time लगेगा. So we know that from invoice to revenue generation or realization, this is going to take that time. So we have understood that these customers, and if you look at in America also, that we work with few customers, it's net of 60 or net of 90 days from the contract itself. So 60 दिन 90 दिन तो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में कभी कभी डाल देते हैं. वो तो सरकार है, कभी डालती नहीं है कि आज इनवॉइस रेज करो तो हम आपको, there is no mentioned timeline. But the good part is that it comes with a sovereign guarantee. पैसे आपके कहीं नहीं जाएंगे, आज नहीं तो कल तो आना ही है.
This is Lokesh Shastri from MTI News. Firstly, congratulations, doing a great job in nation building and making it easier for the lives of the people to work with, and not only in India but worldwide as well. Now, having said that, we are dealing with government, and government has its own advantages, as you just mentioned, and there are some challenges as well. So today you are quite a big player, but earlier you might have had some challenges. So could you throw some light on that? That's my first question.
So challenges, in the past, our challenges have been that we were not eligible to, हमें लगता था हम जाके झगड़ा करते थे. We can also do what large established companies can do. But then sooner we realized that they are such large organizations, they just can't allow everybody to come in. Unless until you have certification, you have credentials, you have work experience of the past. So that is one challenge that we had in the past, which is no more right now, because more or less we are mostly eligible to a lot of, जहाँ हमारा मन है, we are eligible to that. We are not competing with, as I told you, I'm not, somebody comes to us and says that this is a 1,000 crore bid and you take it right now. I don't think we have that capability right now. So we maybe after 5 or 7, 10 years, 5 years, we may have. So in that scale, that is one challenge that we see. Second challenge is that sometimes when there is an expectation mismatch. So that is where that is why we stopped bidding in tenders which are least cost. So we say that unless until it is quality based selection, where there is a 80-20 selection criteria or 70-30 selection criteria, so we will not pursue. So that way we are able to make sure the customer knows what they want. So that's what.
And in quality based selection that you just mentioned, there are other challenges like the other players. There are bigger players than you. There's Infosys, there's TCS, there's so many other companies who are having Salesforce is there, who are having ERP solutions, which they can customize well, and they have that bigger cloud, bigger experience, worldwide presence. So how do you compete with them?
One is like with this established player, price plays a big advantage, number one. The agility to which we work, हमारे पास जो knowledge base है, हम government के साथ कैसे काम होता है, ये हम समझते हैं. For these large organizations, sometimes it becomes very difficult, and the cost also shoots up. When it comes to OEMs like Salesforce or ServiceNow, now India is a pioneer of open source. This is something which we practice also. India Aadhaar framework is world's best, and that is something everybody wants to emulate. Everybody wants to emulate, but India is not giving that. Right? We have also something as an open source ready to be given to countries as a bilateral thing called MOSIP in IIT Bangalore that has been prepared. We are a certified MOSIP partner. Today there was a Digital Africa meet at Cote d'Ivoire in Abidjan, West Africa, where all worldwide, all partners on this called Aadhaar framework, India also went. So what I was trying to say, to cut the story short, open source is the key for the governments. Proprietary softwares may not be as acceptable for the cost that they bear, and that is why I don't see much of the competition. But yes, other players, they do compete to the names that you said. Sometimes we lose, sometimes we win also.
Your top 10 customers are mostly concentrated in 70% of your revenue. So does that not make it a concentration risk for the investors?
It's a bit of a challenge there in understanding. We are empaneled with Nixie, we are empaneled in chips in Chhattisgarh, we are empaneled with RISL in Rajasthan. So we are empaneled, quality-based empanelment that has happened. Now these are the bodies which picks up jobs. Suppose Nixie IPO DGCA has asked to develop some portal to Nixie. Nixie goes through their bidding process on quality based only and selects a vendor. So आपको इसलिए वो कुछ Nixie नाम दिखता होगा, OCAC करके नाम दिखता होगा, STPA करके, but they are aggregators and within them they are government departments.
Could you throw some light on the IT security and data leakage prevention? Because there can be people who can be doing something wrong inside the company, and you might get into a blame. And so, how do you protect your company and your brand reputation?
So today we have a security. We are a Type 2 SOC 2 certified organization. We don't process any data at our premises. It is only all data remains at the client premises. We strictly follow DPIP, digital. What is that? DPDP. And to ensure that DPDP, we have a red team of course formed because of IPO that is done. We have a 30-member team on cybersecurity alone, where we do forensic audit of our own jobs. Right? We have policies, processes mentioned that at any given point of time we can pick up anybody's machine and run a forensic audit. We have invested heavily on network security because it's not only for any customer. It is a very risky business today with advent of AI. Things are becoming more and more difficult. So hence we have also invested, and recently we have cleared the 13 exam. उसका final Vivas बाकी है. So final exam हम clear गए. So we will also be a certified auditor for security, for doing security signatures for applications.
So one last question. You just mentioned about Megha K, and you also said that she earns some salary. Where does she spend the salary?
She earns ₹1 only, and it goes to the CHRO.
Sir, some of your subsidiaries are incurring losses historically, and they have got negative net worth. So going forward, how would you address this concern? Will the dependence on foreign countries will decrease in light of this thing?
No. So there is. So you have to understand this, that we execute job in India. However, our sales office, representative office is in US. It is in Dubai, but it is not in Kenya. Kenya is said categorically we have a delivery center, so it is self-sufficient. काम वहीं भी होता है, काम इंडिया में भी होता है. But most of these offices are acquiring deals. Now these deals, while the work happens in India, and they are very new. They are like a startup. Just a matter of time. I think America was making losses because it just started. So you had to invest. And कोई भी business को invest करके 3 साल तो wait करना पड़ेगा. Till that time तो ऐसा दिखेगा. But then, however, as I said, Dubai and Toronto, the 2 subsidiaries that will be sales offices, sales rep offices, and Kenya and Quantify as a wholly owned subsidiary, and CSM Incorporated America are all into profit sides.
So first of all, congratulations, and I really give you the